The tax officer's focus these days is compliance. They want compliance. And if you do find yourself in a position where you need to see someone like me, if you haven't got that compliance and that history, they're not going to do a deal with you. They're not interested. They'll want to see the company put into liquidation than restructured. So staying on top of those lodgements is very key these days. And
welcome to the Financial Fitness, building stronger bottom lines for long-term growth. I have some really hard-hitting and very knowledgeable people here at the moment. We have Daniel Frisken from O'Brien Palmer, a chartered accountant, a registered liquidator and professional member of the Australian Restructuring, Insolvency and Turnaround Association. Boasts more than 2 decades of experience in navigating complex insolvency and restructuring scenarios. Has led restructuring and orderly wind-up of businesses in a myriad of industries. So we have some great perspective there from Daniel. Welcome, thank you. So the next question is, what common mistakes do SMEs make that compromise profitability or cash flow, and how can they avoid them? Daniel, do you want to add anything on that? Because I'm sure you see a lot of this in your restructuring and in your advisory there to help companies sort of get out of that danger point rather than going into liquidation.
I think it's right, getting that professional advice early and being able to get your structures in place. You'll see a lot of really good businesses that have started off small and they're in a structure that doesn't work at the size that they've got to, and it's impacting their ability to borrow, it's increasing taxes. So getting that advice early and putting those structures, especially asset protection for yourself as a director, so that you have options and you can go to your finance guys and get those monies. If you're not structured properly, you're very limited in what you can do.
That's probably the most important thing when you're starting off in a business. You tend to think, I'll do the easiest structure possible, and that's put myself on the line and be a sole trader or a partnership. That's probably one of the worst things you can do from a risk point of view. And sometimes spending the money to set up yourself properly, speaking to an accountant, setting up a company or a family trust and trying to protect your assets is really important.
And ensuring that you've actually updated where your documents are getting sent to, because the amount of times I have a client come in and there's really nowhere we can go with it because the entire debt has become a DPN. They never updated where it was an old house that they moved out of 10 years ago, and it's a personal debt, and you're talking to me about a bankruptcy rather than restructuring your business.
Thanks, mate. That's really important. Should SMEs approach risk management, including debt, credit, and investment decisions? Start with you, Daniel.
I think a lot of the trend I've seen lately, which is concerning, and it comes down to cash flowing. There is a lot of fintech money out there now, and people, they're desperate for cash, and they're grabbing these products. They don't understand the products, they don't understand the cost, but they know that they've got a payroll coming up. I think you need to get in front of a broker and understand what debt product you actually need for your business. Not simply grab the easy money that's there, that when you look at it, it's more expensive than a credit card, it's putting your house up, and it eats away your margins. Like the amount of times I've seen businesses with a factoring facility, they might be working off a 15% margin, and when you put all the costs on, I'm looking at it and I'm like, mate, you're paying 20% for this. You're going backwards. In 3 years' time, there'll be nothing left. But their answer is, I need the cash. So it's being able to look at those hidden costs and understand what it's going to cost you, and that you actually got a profit margin at the end of it. Because it's one thing to see the money dropping in, but you need to know at the end of the day that you actually have a profit at the end of the day. And that means seeing your accountant regularly, not go and see him at the end of the year and work out, was it a good year, was it a bad year? It's being proactive with that. It's getting the right product for your business and ensuring that your structures are in place so that if something does go wrong, there are options to turn it around.
I'm going to ask a question just off this, because it's bringing up something for me which I notice with a lot of my clients. And you guys out there who are running businesses and have suppliers, you probably come up with supplier agreements that ask for a personal guarantee. Because you're a small business and they're offering you a lot of credit, And so, they're saying, we'll lend you, we'll give you a $30,000 limit for your suppliers, but we want a personal guarantee. Now, I know this is a beauty for you, Matt, because you're dealing with this all the time, but Daniel, if you can give some pointers on that too from a liquidator's point of view in terms of the danger of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think almost every supplier these days in this country is asking for personal guarantees. Like the PTY Ltd business, where you used to have that protection, it's almost non-existent these days. And you've got to understand when you're signing up credit terms, when they have personal guarantees in there, if you are restructuring or you are closing down the business, their first step is your house. There's no way out of it. You could restructure the business and they're still going to come for the balance. So you do need to go and speak to your lawyers about what's the impact of signing it up, and then look at asset protection yourself as a director, because if you're able to have your assets or your properties safely put away, that will give you more options. And I mean, a lot of guys, they just have a personal guarantee in there. They don't actually know if you've got a house, or they don't do that. Having those protections in every layer makes my job easier as a liquidator, because I have more options in being able to negotiate with creditors for you. It's in that growth period where things are going well and no one's thinking about what if it goes wrong. And it is a balancing act between asset protection, which can make it difficult for lending, and it can make it difficult to grow your business, but then you have the asset protection. So there is a balancing act there, but getting that advice early and having the right people, so having your insurance brokers, having your accountants, having your lawyers, set that structure early. Even coming to someone like myself, like guys that come and see me when they're setting up, don't need to come and see me again. Like it's straightforward, they're protected. It's an easy process. It's when they come and they're like, oh well, I had the income, I bought the house, oh well, I've transferred it to my wife because the business is going bad. It just doesn't work. Like it's going to cause problems. But if it was set up correctly at the start, it's very difficult. You actually have that veil that you can't pierce.
This is what are the top 3 financial habits that successful SMEs consistently follow? What habits there are? Daniel,
I can tell you the bad habits that I see. Obviously, just not having that buffer, not having that cash buffer. You might have a really good quarter, and then I see it all the time, especially with the young guys and the tradies. They've had a really great quarter, they've had a boom, and they go and buy that luxury car. Then they go and see their accountant at the end of the year and they find out what's FBT. What do you mean I have to pay that tax? It's keeping to your core business and your core assets, and don't mix your personal and your business. Like really try and keep that separate. Set your goal personally, pull your money out properly. I think that's a really big key, and I think we see that a lot, and it comes down to not planning with your accountant, and come the end of the year they've pulled out the profit, they haven't actually paid tax on it, they don't have a Division 7A agreement, they don't know what to do, the tax bills now move to them personally, they can't negotiate with the tax office, very difficult to negotiate with at the moment. So it's set your personal financial goals and your business financial goals and make sure they align, and don't mingle it, because that's where you fall into traps.
All right, thank you very much, Samara, Rich, Daniel and Matthew, and I'm Juston Jirwander from Bishop Collins, so thank you very much for being here.